I was riding my bike, but in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a bit of the story of how I made my short film. I'll say our short film, Slow to Anger, which came out May 30th this year, and I think it's actually been doing quite well, especially in the sense of impact on people. So, if you have not seen this film called Slow to Anger, I suggest that you give it a shot and watch it before you watch this behind the scenes interview. So I had an idea in my room. As a matter of fact, I was actually in a time of prayer, actually, or spending time with God, hoping I have some sort of answer for a project to make. And I came upon this Bible verse. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's in Proverbs, and it's about he who is slow to anger is stronger than the mighty, something like that. And that inspired the idea for this short film called Slow to Anger. So I took notes on how the story should be, and I was just writing the story or the basic plot or a little description of what's going on. So yeah, I wrote this down, but it had been, I think it would have been like about a month until this thing would have been finished, or planned, because this project, it took some careful planning, I will say, from phone calls to drawings and other stuff, including messaging people so I could build a cast and a crew. Now, for my digital productions class, I had some other ideas before. However, I decided to go with this one. I believe that this film called Slow to Anger was the one to go for. The teacher wanted us to make a storyboard for this film, not only just writing the script. I'm not a fan of storyboards. I have experience with it. I've drawn quite a lot, actually, just for a single film or short film. Thing is, I haven't produced it. That's the thing. But that's for another video. For this film, yeah, I wrote the script. I did this shot list, so I annotated the script, and therefore, if it's annotated with shots and stuff, it becomes a shooting script, right? But first, before that, I did the storyboard. So I was doing drawings and drawing out the shots, that kind of stuff. Thing is, in pre-production, I needed to get the props. I got the props and this and that. As a matter of fact, I actually was thinking on doing 2 films in the month of May. I'm glad I did not, because as a matter of fact, I was working on a play called Teacher's Pet, but I'm not going to get into that. That was for school. It's not on YouTube. Now, when it comes to for the actors, I wanted to find people who can convey emotion well. They don't have to be perfect, but I wanted somebody who can do that. And so I would search for actors. Eventually, I found Brendan and Malik. Other people I asked, but they weren't interested. Crew wasn't as much of a challenge. I decided to train people as really for the crew. I don't need to worry about them as much. But yeah, also including for the locations. That was another thing. The locations, I was writing and taking notes how I wanted things to go. I made a schedule. I wanted everybody to be here by this time and be at this location, because we shot this film in the park. Thing is, I was not sure if this film would be possible to do in the park, because I was worried about us filming in this public place, if we wouldn't be allowed, especially with the presence of others. But they gave me the A-OK. As long as I don't record people, I suppose they possibly meant up close, unless I have their permission, because of course there's going to be people here and there. You can't, if you're in the middle of a shoot, you can't be asking in the middle of a shoot, oh, can we record you? No, you can't do that. I was happy to do this idea. It took more work than I thought, but it was able to be done in over a month. This entire project, I was debating for the parks where to shoot, this and that. Found the line, decided to do the Lions Park. Now for the production phase, we gather. I did some little training and practice. We did the rehearsals. We did all that stuff. And it was actually fun. But the thing is, it was a windy day. We had trouble. Our original location was actually to be in a... I'm actually glad we didn't film there. It was almost like shooting in the middle of nowhere. We were shooting in this place, like it was like a former skate park, but all of that had been demolished, and it was just flat concrete or gravel, flat hard ground. There we go. And so, doing that, we moved to a different place. We found a bench, and as a matter of fact, it was less windy. The other place, it was because we were close to the water, right? When there's water, there's wind. So we tried to get not too close to the water the best we can, and even if we were close, as long as like there's some vegetation like trees or bushes or something covering up the water, as long as it was not windy to the best capacity, we were good. Thing is, not everything went according to plan, especially like concerning like and not everything went according to plan for the schedule. We went a bit over. Well, we went over the designated time. We did rehearsals before we actually did the thing. So, and they were good. They were actually good. I looked today, and they're better than I thought, I will say. At first I had doubt when we finished shooting the film, but one person, actually my mom, she looked at their acting and she said it was realistic, which I'm happy about that, because I wanted a realistic type of acting and not something cheesy. I wanted something that was real, and I wanted to make a film that people can relate with, because Slow to Anger is actually, it connects personally with me, as a matter of fact. And especially, like, I used to struggle academically, right? It's the teachers, they thought I needed ADHD pills. I'm not going to say their names, but anyways, I'm not sure exactly who said it anyway. But that was when I was like a little kid. We finished shooting, we ate. It was something. It was stressful, I will say. I believe that we could have done better, on my part at least. My part for sure. In planning, I think if planning was done better, somehow we would have had a better, like the project wouldn't have felt as rushed. We did a good job though for a rushed project. Post-production was, I looked for sound effects, music. I wanted this to be emotional. I wanted there to be some connection with the audience. This and that. I had people review it. Like, even I'm also a cadet. If you don't know what a cadet is in Canada, it's basically like the military but for youth. So I was actually going on a trip to, I can't recall, but I don't know if it was for like, it was like a training thing involving survival and hiking, and I was going to be teaching there. Right, but while we were in the van going to this place called Gagetown, it's a military base. I had a fellow cadet on my left, sitting, doing their thing, being themselves, and I had downloaded a non-final version of the film so I could review it and even take notes of what could be improved. And I showed it to that fellow cadet of mine. They liked it. They really did. And they did give a suggestion, like even concerning like on the screen when it says like when when Leo is pummeling his friend Brendan in his head, his imagination. It shows a Bible verse: mockers stir up a city, something like that. I don't remember the rest. But what happens is she gave an advice to not have it just like appear right away, but basically to let it fade in. So I did that. Took their advice. It helped. So I released this film. People liked it. It was emotional. I even people, particular classmates, because this was for an online course, digital production, 120. And like I remember one person saying that it was emotional, and one person even on YouTube, they commented, because I had this thing premiere on YouTube. I scheduled a particular time for it to come out. Cool. Like one person commented on YouTube that it was beautiful. They just wrote beautiful. Then this other person, I don't remember exactly what they wrote, but they wrote that they can relate, like they connect with the film. That actually touched me. It impacted me. Like I thought, hey, like I think right now, like it shows the power of movies, even short films, not just feature, but just it shows the power of film that where people can relate. When people can relate with the film, your film, even though if your film is not like a mega success, just the fact that it can touch a life is success. Even if it's just 100 views on YouTube, 10 views, 50 views, if it can touch, of course the views are nice. I will say I like views, but just the fact that it touches a life, that itself matters. Like if a person says they can relate with that, and if it's an encouragement, if it encourages them too, like, because I believe the film also encouraged the person. I believe it did. And I think they wrote that too, something similar to what I said. Just the fact that it does that, it shows the power of film when people hear and see what's going on with your in the story. That's a good thing, and that's something to pat yourself on the back for. I'm gonna let other people do that. I don't want to try to glorify myself here. So I don't plan to have this film in film festivals. I want to wait. I want to keep making films, keep making movies, and release a different type of film, and have it premiere in a festival. I want to wait for that. Film has impact. I will say that. What you see can touch you. What you hear can touch you. Yeah, it was actually, I will say it was a success in the sense of it having an impact on people, because I'm beginning to change in how I do movies, or how I want to do movies. I do plan to have some other, I have my eyes on a particular project that I want to get done, even though it doesn't necessarily match my current vision that I have for filmmaking. But I want to get it done because I do want to still stick to my word. And it's been a while. I will admit, that's the Cheese Planet Part 2. It's actually going to be a different name, but I'm not going to say it. But I am going to say it here. Congratulations to Malik Zige, Brendan Alba, Brianna Danculia, Pierre Aguda. I just want to say thank you guys so much. Thank you, everybody, for helping with this film. Without you, I would not. This film wouldn't be possible. Seriously, especially the impact it has. You can't just make a film by yourself. You can make a film by yourself. That's called solo filmmaking. But when you're trying to tell a story of two people talking, and one guy is discouraging his friend that he can't rise, he can't be a scientist, he can't be an author, and the other guy, it's like a stab in the heart. Maybe that's a little exaggerated, but it's painful. It's painful. I mean, maybe to some extent it could be impactful, but I think if you could do two different souls of people, I think that's the bomb there. When you want to really have impact, people have their ways of telling stories. I have my ways. I'm still growing in my ways, still learning. It's good to always learn, especially to get better. The more you learn, the faster you grow. This is a real thing. People in real life, they feel like they are degraded or they're not important, but all of us are. We're all special, and I mean that in a good way. And yeah, so like people in school, they may be discouraged because they're bad at chemistry, they're bad at math, they're bad or even bad at reading, writing, or even some other, so maybe even courses that are not as essential. For instance, music, that's not really an essential course compared to mathematics and English, but it may be their passion. What you like, what you are passionate about concerning what you want to be, that matters, right? Grades, honestly, grades don't determine who you are. Like even the main character Leo, he had low grades, right? He was bad at his exams basically, but he rose up. Of course, grades are important to some extent, so you get in school easier, but they don't determine who you are. Even if you're bad at school, it doesn't mean that you're gonna be bad for the rest of your life. People always have something to say, right? But God knows your potential, because He knows mine, He knows yours, He knows everybody's. We just got to be willing to accept that potential. The door's open, but are you gonna enter? Hopefully you enter the door, right? Thank you guys so much for watching this behind the scenes interview with me. Please share this video with friends and family. Please hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. And if you really like this video, please also leave a comment below. Tell me your thoughts. Tell others your thoughts. What you think on my projects, what you think on this project. And I will see you in the next video and even the next film. Remember, if you haven't watched Slow to Anger, it's only 6 minutes. Check it out right now. If you haven't, you're gonna like it. All right, you're gonna like it, especially if you can relate to somebody who's struggling in school, because I was once struggling in school, right? But you can always soar, you can always grow, right? You don't have to stay in the pit. But have a good day, guys. Yeah.